Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Oh, it is Monday. Hopefully, you had a wonderful weekend and had a great Monday. Tonight, we are talking about the things that we should do. Why we don't do the things that we should do. That's our topic tonight. I'm Dr. Dwayne Wood. If you are new to the area, if you're new to the channel, and that's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. And here on this channel, I help to educate you, I help to empower you, and to encourage you to take charge of your life and your health so you can live a healthy, fulfilling life. We are excited to be here. We're excited to be here today. I had a great day, and hopefully you did as well. This past weekend was so good, nice, guys. The weather was good here. We did have some rain today over last night, but overall it was a beautiful day. My son and I were outside. He wasn't happy to be out there because we were doing yard work, but we got it done, and put the trash out and all that kind of stuff. So it was just nice to be out there. So good. If you are new, also, please put in the comments a Q in front of the question so that we'll know that is a question that we need to get to, that we need to answer. You'll see kind of a format, that Q in front of the question there in the chat. Glad that you're here. We would love to welcome you, to give you a little hand clap, welcoming you to our channel and to our show tonight, guys. I'm excited. We're gonna get into the show, but before I do that, you see I am wearing, and you can see my logo there. This is, you've probably heard me say, this is Dr. Dwayne Wood from Diabetes and Endocrine Wellness Center and the Light Away. And tonight I am wearing the shirt, the polo for the Light Away. And this is our logo. As you know, Dr. Charmaine Wood does our weight management program, and that is through the Light Away. And just a plug to her, and shout out to her, Dr. Charmaine Wood. Hey, love what you're doing. And to our team, our staff, right? So Ashley and Sabas and Jennifer and Florence and Grace, thank you all for what you do for us. So thanks so much. And hello, Dr. Charmaine. I see Dr. Charmaine. That's she's there right now saying hello to us. So we're glad that you are here. Well, so tonight we are venturing into a very important topic, guys. And that is the topic of the things that we should do, right? Things that we should do. And it verges on change and lifestyle and some of the things that we've been kind of discussing. One of the most exciting things that I have happened to me on a daily basis is when I'm sitting in a room and I'm going through whatever discussion we're talking about, whether it's diabetes or weight or some other lifestyle change that I am discussing with a patient. One of the most just exciting things that happens is when I see what I call the aha moment. And the aha moment happens when someone realizes a piece of information, or they hear a piece of information, and finally it's almost like a puzzle gets put together and that piece of information falls right into place. and the light bulb goes on and their eyes light up. And I'll tell you, when that person has the aha moment, they go away, and when they come back, they have implemented the things that we've talked about. They've made changes in their life. They've made changes in so many different, not just for the disease process that we are dealing with, but in so much of their lives in other areas. Because as the saying goes, what you do in one area of your life is what happens in other areas of your life. Yes. And so that aha moment is so exciting for me to see, right? And the question that I always ask, or the question that comes sometimes, is this. There are things in our lives that we want to do, or we say we want to do. There are things that we should do, or at least people tell us we should do, that we don't do. And the question is why? Why don't we do the things that we should do? And tonight I'm going to share 3 of the main reasons. But guys, there are so many other things that we can talk about. But we're going to share 3 of those here with you tonight as we discuss why we don't do the things that we should do. That's our discussion. That's our discussion tonight. So why don't we do the things that we should do? Well, you know, one of the things that sometimes comes to mind when I talk to people, and you know, we're having discussions, I'm in a group, and a lot of people will say, well, maybe the person doesn't have the know-how. They don't have the, and I don't want to use the word intelligence, right? But they don't know what to do. And I sometimes I say, well, I'm not sure about that, because a lot of the people, you who are out there, who are watching this, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it on the replay, a lot of you have gone to school, you have gotten degrees, you are managers, and so you have people that are reporting to you. And your boss, right, unless you're the boss, your boss will come to you with a problem and will say to you, hey, I need you to fix this problem, or we have this project, or we have this contract, or we have this process that we need to improve. And I'm giving it to you. And a lot of people are able to look at a problem. They're able to go out and do research if that's not their area of expertise. And they are able to gather resources to help them realize what the problem is, come up with a solution, get a process in place to solve the problem as they understand it. They have quality assurance people and processes that they've put to make sure that what they have implemented goes the way they think it should. They're able to evaluate the result, and they're able to make iterative changes to their solution so that the problem is solved. Right? So think about that. Think about the process of going through and doing all of that. That shows, one, intelligence. It shows resourcefulness because they're able to go out and do research. It shows some imagination, right? Because they get this group together, or they themselves come up with a solution, or what they think is a solution. They go out and they implement it, and they're able to do evaluation and then come back and make iterative changes to the process. So that shows a lot of skill, right? And so sometimes I'll ask, wow, think of all that it took for you to be able to do your job, to be able to do the things that you do on a daily basis. And I'll say, you know, if I go to your job and I talk to your boss or talk to the people who work with you, would they say that you're good at what you do? And they'll, yeah, I'm great. I am good at what I do. The question then becomes, and I'll use diabetes for an example. Why are your blood sugars not controlled? Because it's a process, right? There's a problem, high blood sugars. We've got to evaluate it. Well, why are the blood sugars high? How can we bring the blood sugars down? Is what we're doing working? And if it's not working, how can we come back and make changes? Right? Wait, right? People are right now, right? We've come through March, and they say that March is probably the month when everybody is now starting to think back of the things that they decided they were going to do in December and January. And some people are falling away from what they decided they were going to do. Right? So there's this problem, and they have identified it. It sounds like they've come up with a solution. And here's March, and they're not doing that, right? So once again, there's that idea. And we're using those two as an example right now, but it could be anything, right? So you're out there right now, And you have for years thought about that book that you wanted to write, the business you wanted to start, that new hobby that you wanted to do, right? So the marriage you wanted to improve, or you want to improve. So this idea can be applied across the board to so many areas of our lives. Remember what we do here on the channel, right? So we educate, we empower, and we encourage, right? So many different areas of our lives can be affected by this. And so the question is why? Why don't we do the things that we should do? And I would propose that one of the first reasons that we don't do the things that we should do is because of memory. That's right, because of memory. And the memory is we remembered the last time we tried to do something. You know, one of the most interesting stories I've heard is someone told the story, and I'm going to use my son, right? I'm going to plug him into this story because I love the idea. And here it is. So my son is going to be 13 here soon, right? And I remember when he was born, I mean, this little guy, right? And they sent him home with me. First of all, they didn't give me a manual. So those of you out there who are parents, you understand, right? So they didn't give me a manual. So we're learning as we go. So my son is, you know, he's on the floor and he's learning to hold his head up, right? And he is able to roll over, and then he starts to pull himself up and he'd fall, and then he starts to crawl, and then he starts to take that first step, right? And he takes a step and he falls down, right? And us, you know, parents, we're excited because, of course, your kid is always like the cutest kid. He's always the most intelligent kid. He's always, right? So we all have geniuses. So we're there and we're like, come on. His name is Blake. I say, come on, Blake, right? And so he gets up and he walks and he falls down again. And do you know that through that entire process, Blake kept getting up and he kept trying to walk and he kept moving until one day he was walking. That's how we are born. That is how we come here, right? With no fear, with no doubt, with the ability to get up 100 times, 1,000,000 times if we need to, and to walk. Can you imagine what would have happened if Blake one day said, okay, I fell, that's too many times, I've fallen. I'm just hanging out down here. But somewhere in our lives, we learned, or we got the idea that if I fall down, then I shouldn't get back up. We got the idea somehow that falling down is failure. We got the idea that not succeeding at the thing that we're trying to right now, this time, this iteration, this moment, stops me from doing that thing again. Can you imagine what would happen if Blake did that when he was learning to walk? Think of all of the steps that he would have missed from that time to now. He's 13. And all the potential steps that he would miss into his future. So sometimes what happens is we tried something in the past. I don't know what it was. What was it for you? And we were not, quote unquote, successful. And that thing said to us, hey, let's not do that again. We didn't like how that felt. We didn't like how that turned out. We didn't like how, and you fill in the blank. Fill in the blank there. And because of that, we're sitting on the floor. We fell one time too many, quote unquote, and now we're sitting on the floor. And rather than taking those steps forward, here we are. And we've missed out on a lot because we're sitting on the floor. I don't know where we learned that. I don't know where you learned that. I don't know where we got the idea that falling, that quote unquote failure, that not succeeding in this thing at this moment, in this iteration, should stop me from trying something else. So you wrote a book. Nobody liked it. You started a business. Nobody came to the business. You said a kind word to your spouse and they didn't respond in kind. You came to work excited and your coworkers weren't excited. You went to your friends with an idea that was, oh my God, I want to do this. And they didn't respond the way you expected. And so now we've decided no more books, no more hellos, no more songs if you play music, right? I'm not writing anything else. I'm not playing. I'm just going to play for me. That's it. I'm not starting that YouTube channel. Hey, right? We're here on YouTube. I'm not starting that YouTube channel that I thought I wanted to start. Because of a memory. We're going to come back to that in a minute. All right, let's see who's out there joining us. We've got some folks out there. So let's see. We've got Dr. Charmaine says they are resourceful. We've got Ashley and Ella. What's up, girls? These are my favorite girls. Come on, say hello. So let's say hello to them. Dr. Charmaine is saying, hello, Ashley. Good to see you. And yeah, she says children are innately resilient. I love that. I'm going to have to, I'll write some of these things down. Children are innately resilient. I'm going to hold on to that question right there. I'm going to hold on to that, and we're going to come back to that in a minute. Okay? Come back to that in a minute. All right. So for the first one, guys, is this memory. The second reason that people don't do the things that they should do is perhaps because they think it's too hard. We were outside, I told you yesterday, with my son, and we were cutting some of the shrubs, right? I got my trimmer, and I'm trying to make a square or circle or whatever shape we're trying to put this plant in. And so there is a patch right in front of our house, and some weeds had grown up, right? So the guys are supposed to come and cut it this week, and so I decided I was going to go. I went to Home Depot or Lowe's. Did it go Lowe's or Lowe's? And I bought a hoe. And so I showed my son how to, kind of pick up some of the grass that had overgrown. So I'm cutting the edge, or some of the weeds, right? So I'm showing him how to do that. And he said, "Daddy, this is hard." And of course I probably didn't say it as kindly as I should. Okay. So Blake, sorry. I said, I don't want you to say it's hard. Right? I know we maybe it is hard. Right? But the more you say that, the more your brain, your mind hears that. And the more it hears that, the more it believes it. Right? You remember this little story? I used to read it to my son. The little engine that could. You remember that? So the whole idea is like this engine, right? And there are lots of different versions of it. This is the version that we used to read. And so the little engine comes to this hill that it's got to get over. And the little engine is at the bottom, and it got to get this supplies over the hill. And it tries to go up, and every time it tries to go up, it comes back down. Right? It tries to go up, and every time it tries to go up, it comes back down. And other engines are coming, and they're going up over the hill, right? And finally, it becomes urgent that the little engine gets across the mountain, this hill. I said hill, but a mountain. Gets over the mountain. And so I think I can is what the engine starts to recite. Right? I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. And with every I think I can, the engine moves higher and higher along the tracks up the mountain. I think I can. I think I can. A little higher, right? I think I can. A little higher. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. And I can imagine that as that engine is getting almost to the top of that mountain, that it switches from I think I can, right? To me, wow, I'm almost there, right? I'm almost there. And as it reaches the zenith of the mountain, right, and looks over, the other side becomes easy. I knew I could. 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 Now, what makes the difference? What makes the difference? I saw something here recently on the internet, and I don't know if the story is true, but it is about a student who took an exam and scored, I think, the 99th percentile, and didn't understand that the 99th percentile meant that he had scored higher than 99% of the people that took the exam. And he thought that 99% of people had scored higher than him. So I think it was the SAT. So now he shows up in college, and in college starts to do poorly, but it was an A student in high school. And so the advisor calls him in and says, hey, what's going on? And he says, I can't do this. This stuff is hard, And the other advisor said, what? I don't understand. You did well in high school. I said, yeah, but I scored a 99 percentile on the SAT. And the advisor explained that meant that you had scored higher than 99% of the people. Do you know what happened? That's right. The student goes back, and now all of a sudden he's making A's. Why? He hadn't changed, had he? What had changed? That's right. The self-talk had changed. When we say it is hard, when we say it's difficult, when we think about the things that we want to do, right? We can create these blocks for ourselves. And these blocks that we create for ourselves prevent us from ever attempting things. So we're sitting at the bottom of the hill, looking at the hill and looking at people, the other trains going across the hill. When we can be at the top, at the zenith of the hill, heading down the other side. So our self-talk, it is too hard. When we say that, we create in ourselves this idea that it is more difficult than we can do. And we sometimes say, okay, yeah, I'm good at what I do. I'm a good engineer. I am a good teacher. I'm a good accountant. I'm a good whatever it is. And you fill that in. But I can't do this other thing over here. Right? And I'm going to pick on them. I keep putting them. I'm going to write a book, because some of you right out there right now can write a book. Everybody is doing these master classes. You have the authority. You have the know-how to do a master class. You can mentor. You can be the expert for someone else. But the idea of it being too hard, we've told ourselves that. And so now it becomes a reality. So, one, don't be the child who stops trying to walk, right? After falling down and sitting on the floor. And two, don't be the little engine that never did. Don't be the little engine that could, but never did. All right. Let's see. What do we got out there? So Ashley said, I love that question. Okay. So Ashley is talking about a question that Dr. Charmaine Wood put in that I'm holding on to, right? So you guys haven't seen that question yet. So I'm coming to that here in a little bit. Okay. All right. So one memory, right? Memory of things that maybe happened before, the last time we failed. Number two, thinking that the thing is more difficult than we are able to achieve. Right? Dr. Charmaine says, our mind listens to our thoughts and wants to make them come true. Wow. Our mind listens to our thoughts and makes them want to come true. Right? Because your body, your mind doesn't want you to be a liar. If you wait till the end, we're going to come to some things here in a minute. And then the third thing, right? We said three things. The third thing. And here in a little bit, we're going to talk about, okay, how do we deal with some of that? The third one is uncertainty. Uncertainty. Sometimes there is a lack of knowledge of where to start. So when I'm seeing a patient in my office for the first time, and I'm going to pick diabetes, right? Right. So when I'm seeing someone in the office for the first time for diabetes, our first visit is really to set the framework for what we are about to do and what we are going to do in the future. Because people come with so many varying ideas about how to manage diabetes, what they've done in the past. They have different ideas of what is going to happen now. So our plan, our first visit is really getting the patient to buy into our method of doing things. And I'll ask the patient when they come to the office, I'll say to them, well, what brings you to see me today? One, how can I help you? What would you like to get from today's visit? And I'll tell you, a lot of times they don't know. They don't have an idea of, I don't know, where do I start? And so I say to them that my goal today is to give you structure. So sometimes people are not sure where to begin. They say, hey, there's so much stuff. There's just so much stuff out there that I don't know. This one is telling me this one is telling me that. You go on YouTube and there's so many different ways of doing something. But here's that same person, though, that is an expert in their field, as we described at the beginning, that knows how to evaluate, how to put things in place, put processes in place, to how to evaluate things, how to read, how to do research. And sometimes they're stuck, not because they don't have the intelligence, not because their memories are bringing back to them something that they failed at before, not because they think it's too hard, but they just don't know where to start. They don't know where to be. They don't know where do I jump on this merry-go-round, if you will. And that can be a daunting thing, right? And so in our lives, sometimes we get paralyzed because of not being sure. And so I encourage people, ask a question. Try something. Try anything. Okay. Because we want to, we're like that child who's trying to walk, trying to learn, right? We want them to get up and keep moving and touching and pulling up and all those things. And that's where we need to be. That's where we need to be. There's so many moving parts, we tell ourselves. Where do I get on? What if this one doesn't work? here's a one, right? Here's something. And this can actually be a section on its own. I'm not sure how people are going to respond to me. What are they going to say? I want to write a book, right? You say to yourself, I want to write a book about recovery from alcohol. I want to write a book about my weight loss journey. I want to write a book about my diabetes, about starting a business, about family. I want to write a book about whatever. I want to start talking to people. I want to be a public speaker. I want to start a YouTube channel. I want my marriage to be better. But what is my wife going to say when I start trying to act differently? We're not sure. Is she going to say, well, who is this? What do you think you're doing? Right? And so that idea, we're uncertain about what's going to happen. Our families are going to say to us, wait a minute. Who do you think you are? You're not an expert on alcohol. We know you use it. You drink it. Right? We still see you eating those ice cream bars. How are you going to tell people about diet and exercise and weight loss? We're uncertain. What if we try it and we fail? We're uncertain. We're uncertain about the outcome. We're uncertain about the response to people. I have a very there's a person that I love very much, right? Several people that I love very much, but one that has written something that is not yet out in the public for consumption. And I say, well, let's do it. It's not out there yet. Why? Because we're unsure. We're unsure about it. So memory prevents us from doing it. The idea that it's too hard prevents us from doing it. And because we're uncertain prevents us from doing it. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Who do we have here? What kinds of, oh, here's another question. I like this. I'm going to take that one out. Take that one there. Let's see. It says uncertainty is so hard. This comes from Dr. Charmaine Wood. Uncertainty is so hard. Hey, Florence. Hello. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Ashley's saying, hey, Florence. And Dr. Charmaine says, do I know you? And then, of course, Florence say, hey. All right, guys, this is a good place for us to do a quick station break. If you've not already done so, please go ahead and check us out on our social media platforms. We've got LinkedIn, we've got TikTok here, of course, on our channel every Monday night at 7 o'clock. And we've got Twitter every day. And then, of course, buymeacoffee.com if you'd like to support what we do on the channel. If you would like to see more of our exciting content, please check us out once again, live here at 7 o'clock. We've got TikTok that comes out on Friday. And we're actually going to change that. So keep an eye out for that. And then every day, we've got our Twitter. Recently, we have launched DwayneWoodMD.com. That is our consulting, not consulting, but our counseling. That is our counseling offering, right? So diabetes counseling, diabetes coaching. We've got life coaching, right? And look for more in that offering again, right? So you'll see two options if you go there right now. You can go and you can schedule a consult, and we'd be happy to get to you. All right. So here it is, right? So let's take all the things that we just talked about, and I am going to tell you right now the thing that unifies all that we've talked about so far? Okay. What theme runs through everything that we've talked about? That is the memory that we have of failure, the idea that it's too difficult, too hard, and the uncertainty. And the theme that goes through all of those is fear. That's right, fear. So our bodies, it's an amazing piece of machinery. I mean, I get excited when I think about it, because our body's job is to protect us, to keep us alive. And our bodies will do everything possible to protect us. We talked last week about the adrenals, and you remember the stress response, right? So anytime the body sees or thinks of anything that could be dangerous, whether it's an actual danger that is like, okay, there's fire, I'm in the house and the house is on fire. That is an actual emergency, right? That's danger. Or the lion that's about to chase me. That is an actual physical something that is going on. That is a truism. But do you know that the body responds in the same way when there are thoughts that threaten it? Like we just talked about, the body does not want to be a liar. So if you say that I'm a failure, if you say that's too hard, it's going to look for evidence to support that, so that there's not this disconnect between what's real and what it is thinking. That's what the body does. And the body does it. And it's amazing, because that is what we want the body to do, right? Because if there is a lion or a tiger or the house is on fire, we need to move, right? So what happens during that process, that fight or flight process? You guys remember? Right? So the breathing, you start to breathe faster. The heart rate goes up. The blood vessels on the skin constrict, right? So that it shunts blood away from the skin. It shunts blood into the internal organs. It shunts blood into so that it can bring nutrients and oxygen. It shunts blood to the muscles so that we can get ready to move. And we feel that as a sense of agitation, right? Something, we're not sure. We feel it as cold, clammy hands and skin, right? We feel the heart rate is going. Our mouths get dry. Why? Because the body is preparing for some kind of excitement. It's preparing for some danger. It's preparing to protect us. And you know, the amazing thing is that those same symptoms, quote unquote, those same responses occur during excitement. I want you to listen. That's amazing to me. Listen. So when you get excited, you know what happens? We start to breathe faster. Our heart rate goes up. We shunt blood from the skin. We shunt blood to our internal organs. We shunt blood to our muscles, right? Because the same kind of responses occur. And sometimes we misinterpret excitement for fear. One of the movies I like, and I think I've talked to this on our team at work, is the movie Wanted, right? McAvoy, James McAvoy, I think is in it, and Morgan Freeman and Angelina Jolie. So McAvoy's character is this guy who has panic attacks, or he thinks they're panic attacks. And so all his life he's been taking stuff to quash the panic. Every time something happens, right, he takes a pill and he woosahs because of the pill. So in the movie, Morgan Freeman shows up, and Morgan Freeman knows something about him. He knows he has special abilities. And so they're in this situation, and Morgan Freeman says to him, right? He gives him a gun, and there are these flies, right? And if you watch the movie, spoiler, by the way, spoiler. And he says, I want you to shoot the wings off of the flies. And he's like, I can't, because the flies are like this and they're way across the room. He's like, I can't do that. He says, yes, you can. Yes, you can. And he starts to get, so his heart rate goes up, his breathing, his blood is shunted from his skin, right? So he's going through this almost panic attack, and he wants to grab one of the pills. But Morgan Freeman forces him not to take the pill. And do you know what happens? His focus becomes so intense that he's able to get the wings off of the fly. So sometimes what our body's doing is our body's getting us ready. I want you to think about that. Not for fear, not for fight or flight, but it's getting us ready to do the things that we need to do. So how do we overcome not doing the things we should do, right? How do we overcome that? You have to have an intrinsic why. What does that mean? There are things that we want to do because other people want us to do them. One of the questions I ask in the office for patients is, why do you want to control blood sugars? Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you whatever? Because I know why I want them to lose weight, and their doctor who sent them to me knows why they want them to control their blood sugars. But why do they want to control it? Because until it becomes personal, it's not going to happen. Or it may happen for a while, but when the going gets tough, there's nothing that is there to sustain them, right? So I remember this guy who was in our office. He would come, and we would talk every time he walked in about his blood sugars. They were out of control. And we kept trying all kinds of things, send them to education. We would come up with different methods of theories, different medications, different diets, different plans. And it was difficult to control his blood sugars. And one day he shows up. He's like, Dr. Wood, we've got to get these blood sugars under control. And so we did that. He goes, wait, right? I'm like, okay, who is this guy? And where's the guy who used to come in here? And I said to him, what happened? And he said, I went home recently and my wife said, we're having a baby. So all of a sudden, he had a why. So your why has to be big enough, and it has to be your why. It has to be intrinsic. It has to be something that you can use to get you through, because there are going to be times when the going gets tough, right? So number one, you've got to have a why. Number two, you've got to commit to the process. Commit to the process. Sometimes we see something and we think we want that thing. And we go through the motions that looks like we are committed to that thing, but we haven't really committed. We're trying it, and if it doesn't work, we'll try something else. But if it's a thing that you want, if you've been dreaming about writing the book, if you've been dreaming about getting a better marriage, if you've been dreaming about saving money, if you've been dreaming about getting that house, if you've been dreaming about getting that degree, there can't be another option. I heard somebody talk about, I think it was Dark Knight Rising, right? So Bruce Wayne is in once again, spoiler alert, guys. He's in the pit. And nobody ever escapes the pit. They tie a rope around themselves, and it's a deep pit, and the walls are slimy and slippery, right? And jagged rocks. And, people are climbing, they tie this rope around themselves, and they're climbing up. And invariably they fall, right? And they fall to their death down at the bottom of the pit. The rope breaks and so forth. But the only people that have escaped are the people without the rope. Bruce Wayne happens to be one of those. He didn't tie a rope. He just climbed because he had to succeed. There was no safety net. There was no safety rope. It was this or nothing. How committed are you to this process? Have you said to yourself, this is it. I've got to get this done. It's in me. This is my purpose. This is what I've been created to do. This is what I want to do. I have a gift that I need to share. Are you that committed? Number 3, develop a toolbox. Develop your toolbox. Now, this one is pretty interesting to me. You know, out in my garage, I've got tools all over the place, right? So I got on the walls, I've got hammers and chisels and all kinds of things out there. And whenever I need something, you know, something comes off the wall, I go get the hammer. If I need a screwdriver, go screwdriver. Your success is only as good as your toolbox. Your success is only as good as your toolbox. What's in your toolbox? Are you developing a better mindset? Are you doing positive self-talk? Do you have a routine that sets you up for success? Do you have habits that you've developed that you are developing? Do you come home and that thing is on your mind? And do you have things in place to help you in the process? What's in your toolbox? Are you reading? Are you developing yourself? Are you putting yourself in the place where other people are who want to do the things that you want to do? Right? If you're a writer, are you around writers? If you're a musician, are you around musicians? Are you learning new music? Are you learning new genres? Are you learning new chords? Are you learning new progressions? Are you challenging yourself? There's a famous story of someone who was talking to a writer, and they said, "Hey, I want to be a writer, but nobody will give me a job to write." And the writer says to them, the famous writer says to them, "Are you writing?" What? Are you writing? If you are a writer, if you think you're a writer, are you writing? Or are you waiting to get the job or to whatever? Are you writing? Develop your toolbox. And then finally, get help if you need it. Get help if you need it. I remember I was trying to do something in the in the attic, right? So I went up there and one of the beams moved. That's my story, right? So here's my foot through the roof. And I decided I was going to do it because I could put up some sheetrock, right? But I didn't. The guy comes over and, done. Right above me, there's a lamp, a fan, a ceiling fan. And my plan was to put this one up, and we've got out in the sunroom another one I was going to put up. And so I was reading. I've got the YouTube thing, and right, so I'm looking at all these different things and how to do it. And I said, I can do that. But I told the guys, because they were building the sunroom, I said, hey, you guys put this one up, right? I'll do the next one. And I stood there and I watched the guys put the first one up. And you know what I did? I said, hey, come put this other one up right here. Because it was like this. That's what they do. That's what they do. Now, if I wanted to learn how to put up ceiling fans, of course I would do that. But no, I got help. You may be stuck and you need help. Join a club. Join a Facebook group. Find a YouTube channel that's doing what you want to do and learn how to do it better. And ask questions. Get involved. And if you do that, now we begin seeing progress. We begin seeing all the things that we want to do come to fruition. And that's what helps us get beyond some of that other stuff that we were talking about. So don't confuse the sensation of excitement with the fear, because your body will listen to you. If you say, I'm afraid, if you say it's too hard, if you think about the time that you failed, the body will say, yeah, we don't want to do that again. And here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter. I want you to listen to me. It really doesn't matter if you quote unquote fail, or if you do something and the people that are around you laugh at you. Guess what? Those aren't your people. Right? Those aren't your people. Right? So don't stress over those people. Right? When Dr. Charmaine Wood was on the show, she said, what other people think about you is none of your business. Keep doing what you do. If that's what you want to do, you love to do that. You will find your tribe. And when you find the people you connect with, it doesn't matter how quirky you are, how funny you think you're not, how big your nose is, how buck your teeth is, right? How bad your accent is. When you find your tribe, man, amazing. I'll tell you my story, and then, right? So I decided that I was going to do this channel. And my question was, is anybody going to listen? Is anybody going to like me? How do I look on camera? Right? Do I have enough content? So all those things. And I was listening to Sean Cannell. I was listening to Doc Rock. I was listening to Kirk Nugent. I was listening to Luria Petrucci. You know what I heard? Hit record. And I hit record. And I'm telling you, I'm excited for what I do. I'm excited when you guys are there, when you guys ask questions. This excites me. This is one of my things. But I would not have done it if I had allowed all those other things to prevent me from doing what I wanted to do. All right, let's see who's out there. All right, so let's see. We've been talking here for a while. Okay, we've got, okay, so Florence says, hi, Dr. Wood and Dr. C. Latane Thomas, she says, I love the subject. You teach us so much each session. Looking forward to looking into the coaching. Love it, love it, love it. Yes, definitely, definitely. And we've got G. Albert. Hey, man, thanks for coming through. He said, have a great day. 1, know your why. 2, commitment. And 3, toolbox development with purpose. Man, yeah, G. Albert, I need you to be here, man, so you can summarize my stuff for me. So thank you. Thank you for that. He said, your wife was going to let you up on a ladder. My wife have given me the eye that says, oh, no, you won't, just because you have tools. That's it. So, G. Albert, listen to this. You know how that whole process started? Right. Here's the funny story. So my wife has this piano that she had since she was a child. And it was at her mother's house. And when we moved back to the city here, we brought it from her mother's house over to us, right? And the piano bench was broken. I mean, it was kind of shaky, and so I decided I was going to fix the piano bench. And so I went out and I took the piano bench apart, and there was this this bolt that I needed. So I went to the store, got the bolt. And while I was there, I saw some wood. I don't know why I have a fetish for wood. But I saw some, I was like, hey, you know what? I can use the current cushion, but I can make my own legs. So I went and I bought the wood. And then I got home and I said, you know what? I don't have the right saw for the wood. So I decided I was going to go back and I bought a miter saw, right? Chop saw. So I bought it. And then I'm working on this thing. Say, hey, you know, I need a jig, right? And so I'm going to all this stuff. And so finally I had this whole garage full of stuff and I put up shelves in the garage. And then now I'm looking and say, okay, what else can I do? So I said, hey, let me go up in the roof. So this all started, G. Albert, because I was trying to fix a piano bench. Yes, that's how that all started. And maybe one day I'll show you guys a picture of my foot hanging down. So yeah. He says, let's see, what does he say? Let's go back over here. He says, I'm still waiting for that special push to start. All right, we're good. All right, so let's go back up here and let's grab this question from Dr. Charmaine Wood. She said, what's the process for changing our negative self-talk? Wow. That's a very good one. What's the process for changing our negative self-talk? Do you know self-talk comes from things that we've learned? It's a learned behavior. You remember that kid that we were talking about, that little baby, that toddler that's learning how to walk? In that toddler's mind, there is nothing that says, I can't do this, right? He or she continues trying all the time. And so we've learned this behavior. So just like we've learned, we have to unlearn. And so the first thing that we can begin doing is we can begin surrounding ourselves with positivity, positive people, listening to positive songs, reading positive books and music. Number one. Number two, sit down and come up with some positive mantras, some positive sayings, some positive quotes, and paste them. Surround yourself with positivity, right? So that everywhere you look, there's something. It says, I am great. I am a content creator. I am loved. I am a positive person. I have value. My idea is good. There are people out there that will listen to me. And then number three, repeat it on a daily basis. And every time you begin thinking negatively, try, right? And once again, this is not going to always happen. So you have to practice this when you're not thinking negatively, right? So just randomly, through your day, have something like on my phone, there's a thing that pops up. It says, are you willing right now to do what it takes to achieve what you want? So put something in your phone so that as you go through the day, it pops up. Surround yourself with it. How do you overcome fear of failure? How do you overcome fear of failure? Wow. Fear of failure. Once again, this is a learned condition, right? At some point, we had something that happened that says we need to be afraid. And this is where sometimes we need some expert professional help, right? We need someone to be able to help us tease and parse and challenge our thinking. Because when we're in our own head, I have a guy that I know, and he used to say, when I'm in my head, I'm in the wrong neighborhood. Right? Because it feeds on itself. It feeds on itself. And after a while, if we're not careful, we're kind of going down that spiral. And we don't want to be there. Right? So we've got to get some help. I'm taking this coaching course, and we're talking about how do we help people become unstuck? What does that mean? And the idea is that people have in them the capacity with help to work through their problems and to come up with solutions. They are creative. They're imaginative. And all they need is some assistance in the thought process. And ultimately, it is the thought process, the change in the thought process, that helps us get beyond all the things that we've talked about. It is the change in our thought process that changes our feelings. The change in our feelings changes our actions, and our actions changes our result. Love it, love it, love it. Guys, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see who else is out there. G. Albert, we've talked, I'm still waiting for the start. Say, I'm glad to see you have all 10 fingers. That's right. I love it, love it. And Dr. Charmaine says, I love affirmations. Love affirmations. They are so important. I love it, guys. So once again, guys, thank you for being here. We love this, okay? So as we go through, one of the things that I want you guys to send me a message about, right, is I want to, on our shows as we go into the future, I want to actually bring someone on screen, on the stage, where we can do some coaching here, right, as we're coaching live, okay? Let me know if that's something you think is would be beneficial. And we can do life coaching. We can do diabetes coaching, right? So those things that we talk about. We can do weight coaching because we can have Dr. Charmaine come on, and we can do that here on the show, right? So let us know if that's something that you think you would like to see. And then if you would like to be someone that we coach here on the show, send us a message as well, right? So D-Wood at DwayneWoodMD.com. And you can go to our, let me see if I can put that in our link here. Put that in our message. Let's see. No, that's a welcome one. Okay, I'll just type it. So, but it's basically, if you go to bio, that link, or if you go to the show notes, right? So bio link / Dwayne Wood MD. I just put that in the chat. You can go there, or if you go into the show notes, there's a link there, and you can connect with me. You can send me messages. You can tell me if you think this is a good idea. You can, put your name there if you would like to be someone that we bring up on stage, because I'd love for us to be able to do that. All right, so let's see what J. Albert says. Positivity. 2, reinforcement. Surround yourself with positive folk. No, we don't want to go down a spiral. There's assistance around. You have to just ask for help. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. Guys, as always, we are excited that you're here. Glad that you're here. On our channel, we help to educate you. We help to empower you and to encourage you to take charge of your life and your health. Avoid complications and live a healthy, fulfilling life. This is Dr. Dwayne Wood from Diabetes and Endocrine Wellness Center and The Light Away, right? I got that shirt on. Thank you for being here. We'll see you at the next video. Let's get some music and let's get out of here. Good to see you all.